it's me, Robin, with Simple Food, Simple Life. Today, I'm going to show you how to make the best, easiest, most simple brownies you will ever make. So, let's get going. These brownies are made with Hershey syrup. Okay, I started making these brownies back in the 1970s when I came across this recipe, and I've actually been making them ever since. I made them quite a bit for my children when they were growing up because they love brownies. They're brownie people. So here we go. This is what you're going to need, and just don't worry about this because I'll put the recipe down below, and that way you can have it for your own. So what we have here is we've got 1 cup of granulated sugar, and we have 1 stick of melted butter. No substitutes. Okay, use butter. If you substitute at your own risk. So 1 stick of melted butter. We have 1 cup of flour, and we have 4 eggs, and we've got some vanilla. Now I have pre-greased, I've sprayed the bottom of a 9x13 pan. That's what this makes. And so that's all ready to go. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees. Now, first thing we need to do, we need to pour our melted butter in the sugar. I just melted this in the microwave, so no problem. And we're going to mix it. Now, if you want to use a mixer to do this, that's fine, you can, but it's not necessary. Just use a little elbow grease and get yourself a decent whisk, and you can do it just fine. So, I'm going to just mix this up until the sugar and the butter are all incorporated together. Let me get you down here a little closer, you can see. And that's really all it is. Now, we're going to add our eggs, but we're going to add the eggs 1 egg at a time, okay? Don't add them all at once. 1 egg at a time until they are all well incorporated. Okay? Here we go. Well, that was easy. Now we're going to add the next one in. Your kids will love these, by the way, or your family will if they love brownies. I'm making these brownies because Thanksgiving is coming up. So I'm going to make them ahead of time because they freeze extremely well. So I'm going to make the brownies, freeze them, and they'll be all ready to go for Thanksgiving because I'm having company. Okay. Now, I'm not necessarily a brownie person. I think it's just because I'm not a chocolate, I'm not big for chocolate. I eat it, and I do eat it, but I'm just not big for it. But I think that's what you do. Even if you don't love something, you make it for the people you love. Isn't that true? That was the last one with a little bit of shell in there. Yummy. Alright. So you see what that looks like? It's looking good. So now we're getting all of our eggs incorporated. And then we have to add the vanilla. So I'm going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla. That's important. And get that blended in. Now you see how you really kind of don't need a mixer here. I've got my wooden spoons at the ready just in case I might need one of those. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to gradually incorporate our flour. the last thing that goes in is our Hershey syrup. And there's a couple of things I want to tell you about the Hershey syrup. The original recipe way back it called for one 16-ounce can of Hershey syrup. Well, I don't know about you, but I have a hard time finding a 16-ounce can. I have a hard time finding a can of Hershey syrup. Honestly, I don't know if they make them in cans anymore. But they do come in the little squeeze bottle like this. So that's what I have. So that's what I want to talk to you about when I get ready to do that, because there's just a little information you might need to know. I kind of had to research that for myself, because in times past I always used the can of Hershey's, and that worked perfectly, because the recipe calls for a whole can, 16-ounce can of Hershey syrup. So, but here's the thing about the Hershey syrup. See where it says 24 ounces, and on the can it would say 16 ounces? That is not the volume. That is the weight of the syrup. So if you were to buy a bottle of Hershey syrup instead of a can, and you would think, well, the can called for 16 ounces and that means 2 cups. No, because it's not the volume, it's weight. So here's the thing. With a 16-ounce can, a 16-ounce can of Hershey syrup, which is sold by volume, is in actuality, or excuse me, which is sold by weight, in actuality is 1 1/2 cups of Hershey syrup by volume. It's not 2 cups, it's 1 1/2 cups, because the Hershey syrup is sold by weight, not volume. So I measured out of my bottle here, because this is a 24-ounce by weight. I measured out 1 1/2 cups of Hershey syrup. So that's the deal. I hope I made that clear. I hope so. But just remember that when you go to do your syrup, just remember that it is sold by weight, not volume. And I am hard-pressed to find a can of Hershey syrup these days. So, actually, when I do the recipe, I will put that in the recipe for you. I'll put a note in there. Buy the syrup to tell you, because you may not be able to find it. Now, see how well this is mixing up? This is so good. It's going to make you feel happy. And listen, I'm not going to frost these, but you can feel free to frost them if you want to. When my kids were young, I would make these, and I called them SUNDAE brownies, S-U-N-D-A-E, like ice cream sundae. And we would put a scoop of ice cream on top with some hot fudge sauce and some squirty cream. We would do that, and it was pretty good. So there you go. Now, I defy you to tell me that that was not easy. Okay? Now then, it's all mixed up. It's nice. It smells chocolatey. So now we're going to put these in the pan. And don't make fun of my pan. I got this pan when I was pregnant with my first daughter, and she was born in 1971. Does that tell you anything? I love this pan. I still have this pan, the round cake pans, and I think I still have the pie plates too, so I think so. But anyway, It's been around a while. Pretty delicious. All right, now then, let's just kind of give this a tap, 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 tap. And I'm going to pop it in the oven. And this goes, let's see, I want to make sure I got this. This goes in the oven at 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. So it takes a while. So when it's done, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what we have. Okay? All right. So go get a cup of coffee or just relax, and we'll have brownies when we get back. All right, I took these out. I'm going to let them cool on a rack. Now, bake them for 35 minutes or until a skewer or a toothpick inserted in the middle comes out clean. If you don't have either one of those things, just use a table knife, insert it in the middle, and you get the same results. Now then, I'm going to let this cool off, and it puffed up, but you know it's going to go flat a little bit because that's what brownies do. And when they cool off a little bit, I'll cut a piece and I'll show you what they look like. One thing too, if you want to add nuts, you can add a cup of nuts if you like your brownies with nuts. And that will be in the recipe too, but the nuts are optional. Okay, when we come back, we'll cut a piece and I'll show you what it looks like. Now here you go. This is the brownie. It smells so chocolatey. It's really, really good. Now listen, this is just an FYI for you. I had self-rising flour because that's all I had. So I used self-rising flour in this recipe. That is going to make your brownies more cake-like. If you use just regular all-purpose flour, then your brownies will be more chewy. Okay? That's just for you to know. Some people like a cakey brownie, and other people like them to be more chewy. So honestly, it's whatever your preference is. So that's just a little hint for you. Okay? All right. I just want to show you what this looks like. It's nice. It's delicious. It's really, really chocolatey. And like I said, if you want to frost your brownies, go ahead and frost them. That's perfectly fine. Okay? All right, listen. If I can do this, you can do this. You know you can. And you just remember, as always, that little is much when God is in it. All right? Okay, I love you. I'll talk to you later. And you have a great day. Bye-bye.